All right, welcome back to another XLM video. So yes, it is truly a case of what the hell is going on with this pattern. The lack of upside movement at the moment to me has made me look at the whole picture, the bigger picture once again. And I would say there's a high level of probability that this is actually going to go lower, much lower. I have removed my long position, um, and although it may go up and make one more high, I think that what's going on here is completely different than what I was expecting originally. Now, mind you, this might actually start moving lower sooner, but basically getting to this video right now. So what is the deal with this move? Right, it's taking way too long. It should never have corrected the way it did, and that usually means that potentially what we were looking at here is a wave 4 of probably either a wave C or a wave E. At this point, it's too hard for me to tell due to the choppiness of it. But in a nutshell, the reason I think this is A, because it's not moving up higher quicker, and also because once you start to get these type of subdivisions where you get like a 1, a 2, a 1, a 2, it doesn't make sense anymore, right? Because that's basically making a weak 5 wave move and one that's not going to get stronger, right? We've had multiple rejections of the inverse head and shoulder pattern. So for me, I'd say look at the bigger picture, and so I did. And at this point, I'm out. Unless you want to short this, that's a different story. I'd wait for a proper setup, which we might be seeing right now, but too risky. Too risky at this point. Unless I do some more digging, perhaps soon if I see a good setup, maybe. But I think it's going to go lower. And the reason for that is because I think that what's actually going on here is a wave 4 of a wave C. That large move that started in 2021, I don't think it's finished. And if I can call this a zigzag A, then I could also call it a 1, 2, 3. And wave C never touched wave 1 and 2. So there's a good chance that this is actually wave 4, and this needs to make one more low below the December 2022 low. So I would be very careful with this thing. It doesn't look very good at the moment. A lack of upside, and I think Bitcoin's nearing a top. I think that we need to just wait because there will be another opportunity for this to go long. And I think what it's going to do is the classic triangular type pattern where you do get an A, B, C, D, E, and there will be a very good opportunity to short. Now that wave E might be small. Usually that's what happens at the end of these moves is you get a good entry with a small stop, right? Because the balancing forces create the A, B, C, D, E pattern, which happens in all corrections, not just triangles, but this one could actually lead us into a different kind of pattern. So it's actually not a bad thing. I think that if this type of thing is actually happening, then there's a good chance that we actually might see prices go much higher than previously anticipated, right? Which means that we've been in a wave 2 ever since 2017. This means that we have huge upside potential, in my opinion. But we need to see the rest of this play out before we can make that assumption. Now, there will be things that I will be looking for along that path in order to do so. But for now, I just want you to be cautious because, look, if you're loading up bags for the long run, it's not a bad idea, right? Because all we're going to do is oscillate in this range, right? Yes, it might dip down lower. Well, it has to dip at least down to 0.07, right? And then it'll probably bounce in wave D, and E will end not lower than wave C. So that's what I believe. Obviously, we need confirmation for that once it happens. But the point here is that what I thought this could have been as a I don't know, like a B C, right? A zigzag up, zigzag down. The internals of this, what I presumed was a C wave, it's actually looking like a type 2 expanded zigzag, right? And there's a few other things here that don't fit too well with a bullish wave D. So yes, I think this is the reason why it hasn't moved much, is because it's not meant to yet. So I think I prefer this count over the other count anyway, because it just means that we're going to see huge upside potential after this stops correcting. So that is insane. I believe that's crazy, but we could see another 55,000% move. I believe we can see at least that in the next move, but you're going to have to be patient and wait for these rest of these waves to unfold. So I think that's basically a good indicator that maybe you should prepare by waiting, capitalizing, storing the dry powder, that type of thing. I will provide you with a better count once I see a clearer count. At the moment, I'm not liking how this is looking. So I'll catch you on the next one.